Sitting on the election petition at the Supreme Court has been adjourned to the 24th of this month. This is to enable the auditing firm KPMG to finish counting the pink sheets filed by the petitioners and served on the respondents and the court's registry. Cross-examination on pink sheet-related issues by counsel for the petitioners, Mr. Philip Addison, has been docked due to concerns raised by counsels for the first, second, and third respondents that they do not have the full complement of the pink sheets that were filed.
Hearing of the 2012 presidential election petition entered its 33rd day today, and counsel for the petitioners, Mr. Philip Addison, continued his cross-examination of the witness for the second respondent, Dr. Kwejua Farijan, for the fifth consecutive time. However, his cross-examination was met with a couple of objections from counsel for second respondent, Mr. James Kwasi-Aidan. He proceeded on the basis that the documents that Mr. Addison sought to cross-examine the witness on had either not been pleaded or tendered in evidence. Mr. Addison's cross-examination of the witness today hinged on non-pink sheet-related issues. It focused on the role of the presiding officer as against that of the polling agent spelled out in CI 75.
In fact, the presiding officer can ask the polling agent to leave the polling station.
My lords, yes, if the polling agent misconducts himself or herself.
And who determines who is misconducting himself? It is the presiding officer.
My lords, yes, it is the presiding officer, but misconduct, they're trained to know what misconducting oneself at the polling station is.
Mr. Addison's request for the witness to produce a copy of the collation form was objected to by counsel for second respondent, Mr. Kwasi-Aidan. This was supported by counsels for first and third respondents, Mr. Tony Letha and Mr. Chachuchikata, and also the panel. They explained that cross-examination should not be used as a tool for discoveries.
I believe you have the constituency collation forms for these constituencies.
My lords, the commission has, but as I said, we don't keep these collation forms in Accra.
But you can make them available. Can you make them available?
Well, the request that you should go and produce these lists. If they filed a notice to produce or they had pleaded to that effect, that would have been different, my lord.
Our position, respectfully, is that they should have known, the petitioners, that they would require collation sheets as part of their case. In fact, all the parties at that stage knew, as your lordship had indicated, the kind of documents that they would require for their case, and they had the opportunity to apply properly by notice to produce, and that is the proper way.
The issue of collation sheets has been known long in advance of them proceeding as they've done. I think that at this stage, if your lordships were to allow this process, we would indeed be in a never-never situation where in cross-examination, they can always ask for something. And my lords, cross-examination does have latitude, but the latitude is currently being abused in our respectful submission.
You have the pink sheets, so you lay a foundation from these results from collations. The collation announced by the commissioner was wrong, and therefore that will call into issue the collation for that constituency. But you have not laid any basis. Then you have mentioned series of constituencies. Then you are asking for collation center in respect of all these constituencies. That clearly is not proper.
Mr. Addison withdrew his request for the collation sheet, but expressed worry that his cross-examination has been limited by the dispute over the number of pink sheets filed by the petitioners against those served on the respondents. The court announced that the report on the counting of the pink sheets by KPMG will be ready in less than 2 weeks.
The registrar of this court has reported that KPMG needs a week and some days to submit their report. Addison says some matters are also related to that report. Accordingly, the case is adjourned to 24th June 2013 for continuation.
Spokespersons for the petitioners and the respondents, Ms. Gloria Kufu and Nanatu Dazi, recounted today's proceedings.
The position read is that since KPMG is about finishing its work, we should therefore hold on to the questions that will directly relate to the pink sheets. We therefore opted that this morning we will try and skirt around those issues and then to ask questions that will not directly relate to the pink sheets. We have managed and we promised the court that we'll do this for the first part of the day, and which we have done.
The petitioners have said they don't have a problem with the polling station result. They don't have a problem with what happened. What they say they have a problem with is that there were constitutional infractions, there were statutory infractions, there were some irregularities, there were some errors or omissions. Dr. Farijan believes the contrary. He, like some of us, believe that this election has been the freest, the cleanest, the most transparent, the most involved, the one that has involved all the parties from stage 1 to the end.
Come the 24th of this June, Mr. Addison is expected to continue his cross-examination of Dr. Farijan on the voters' register from the Adaklu constituency.